Uh, the key word here is impressions, because I haven't had time to digest and to process my impressions. But I'd like to offer you a few. The first is, I've been a member of other university boards, and the freshness of the discussions here is remarkable, at least in my experience. Maybe it's the difference between American and Israeli cultures, but there is a real difference. In the discussions that I heard, there was frank disagreement. There was minimal attempts at obscuring the issues, which is always nice. It was in many respects clarifying, I think, for everyone, those who were criticizing and those who were rebutting. And from my perspective, this kind of open dialogue, the confidence that one can express one's opinion without due distress, strikes me as very healthy. So as a physician, I would pronounce that the board in this regard is quite healthy. And that yeah, it's always reassuring to be told we're healthy. However, I actually joined this board 3 years ago. This is my first meeting. Now, I could claim certain guilt feelings, but as in all guilt scenarios, there are rationalizations. And the rationalization is the second basic impression I want to give you. And that is, when I looked at the Board of Governors, I wasn't convinced that my presence was important. Now, I'm narcissistic enough to think that my time is valuable, or that I have some added value to bestow upon those I interact with. And so my impression, and again, this is impressionistic, my impression was that it really didn't matter if I showed up or not. I'm not so sure that was correct, but I'm also not so sure it's incorrect. And now I'm speaking to the Board of Governors themselves, okay? I mean, there are lots of other people here, but now I am speaking to the board. The board is rich with talent, experience, resources, and the university must receive those gifts. And the only way that the board is going to bestow its gifts in its full capacity is for board members to feel engaged, that they feel that they are, in fact, contributing actively. And over the next year, I'm going to think very carefully, along with the staff of the university and with board members, as to how to make this board more active, more proactive, more interested, and ultimately more committed. It strikes me it's a win-win. It's a win for those who are committed to the university already and are looking for ways to be more committed, to be more active, and those, of course, are the governors we want. And from the university's point of view, it's a win-win, because obviously the fruits of that labor will be bestowed upon the university at large. I'm not sure how that's to be done. Impressions. We have had some wonderful luncheons, and the evening last night was exhilarating, and I think that having fun is important. I once gave a speech to an entry medical school class in Boston, and I said medical school is fun. And I tried to explain to them why, in fact, it was fun, and why it was not an ordeal, why it was something that they should be engaged in as an exhilarating experience. And that indeed is what the board meeting should be. It's already fun. It could be more fun. I want more board members to attend our meetings because it represents an opportunity for them to have fun, to engage their peers, to engage professors, to engage the administration, to engage students in a way which invigorates them. And of course, coming back to the university is essentially fulfilling unfinished business. It is. I mean, the only reason I became a board member back in the States was I had unfinished business. I wanted to understand the university better. I wanted to understand how it was governed, etc. And I suspect that there are many governors who can become more engaged if we engage them properly. And so I'm going to ask the governors and anyone else to offer suggestions as to how that might happen. My third and final impression, and now I'm speaking personally. In the abstract, being the chairman of the Board of Governors, you can read the description, etc., etc. I'm in a learning phase. I've been told I'm a fast learner, but I have to admit to you, there is a hell of a lot to learn here. There are enormous challenges. And with all due respect to the information that I have, I'm only beginning to understand this culture, this university in particular. And it is incumbent on all of us, and again I'm speaking to the board, to make the effort to understand the problems. And once we understand the problems in some depth, maybe we can offer some help in solving them. And it isn't just money, and it isn't just opinions. It's really work. And in fact, to be a member of a board is a commitment. It's a financial commitment. It's an ethical commitment, basically. It's a commitment that this, in fact, is important. And I didn't realize how important this was going to become for me personally until I became more engaged. And I suspect that I will become far more involved. My friends who know me well, when I told them that I was obtaining this position and that I had thought about it very carefully and there were all kinds of issues, that I felt ultimately that this was an enormously opportune time for me personally, a wonderful opportunity to complete my aliyah. But I also have to say, and I don't know quite how to say this since this is all impromptu, that my friends said, do they know you? Do they know what they're getting with you? And I said, no, they don't. And I've said it to both Ami and Amos. You don't really know me. But there is an intuition, a deep intuition, that we each share the same vision. We each are bringing or refracting our experience into a focused vision for this university. And I'm excited about working with each of them. And so for me personally, this is a great adventure. And I'm delighted to stand before you and offer these reflections. And they're only preliminary, they're only impressions, but this should be enormous fun and in the end highly productive for the University of Haifa.